Hi, everybody. It's Jeannie Walters with Experience Investigators, and we're here with another Experience Investigators webinar. We do this every Friday, so be sure you subscribe and you won't miss any of our sessions where we dive into different topics around customer experience. Today, we're going to be tackling how to develop better CX goals for your organization using a framework we call the SMIRC Checklist. Now, before we get started, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jeannie Walters. I am CEO and founder of Experience Investigators. We're a firm that helps organizations connect a better customer experience to better business outcomes. We do this through journey mapping, service blueprinting, all sorts of techniques, as well as workshops, training, speaking for your organization as well. Check out the resources we have available at experienceinvestigators.com. And if you haven't already signed up for our Year of CX at yearofcx.com, that's where you can find resources like this SMIRC checklist. We're releasing more than 20 tools and resources throughout the year that you can use to create a better foundation for your customer experience. So if you haven't signed up, it's free to do so. I encourage you to do that. So let's dive into what SMIRC is and why you might want to care about it. Because one of the things that I've seen with customer experience leaders is that sometimes they're asked to define goals in very vague ways. So this is here to help you define what your customer experience should look like, not only for your customers, but also for your organization, your leaders, and how to get buy-in throughout your organization for the goals that you set out. So let's get started. So what does SMIRC mean? Well, we know we spelled it wrong, first of all, but SMIRC goals, this is based on the idea that many of you have probably heard about with SMART goals. It's an acronym to help you define your goals in a more productive way. When it comes to customer experience goals, we want to hit these goals in a way that is social, meaning that it has context throughout the organization. That's something that you can socialize and get buy-in for. It's measurable, meaning that it can't be vague. It's well defined. It's something that you know if you've succeeded in a year or not. They have to be inspiring. They have to really stir some souls and connect to the overall vision of your organization. They have to be relevant, meaning that they have to be relevant to your customers. They can't be produced in a vacuum and just about business outcomes. And finally, they have to be contextual. And this is really where we define how do these connect not just to our customers, but also to our specific leaders in our organization and our frontline workers and the people who are interacting directly with customers. So if you want more detail on how to define each step along the SMIRC checklist, go ahead and download our workbook, which has more detail about each one of these pieces. But for now, let's look at the checklist to define your customer experience goals. Now, when we look at this checklist, the first thing that you'll notice is social. What does social mean? It means it supports goals across departments. It means that you are positioning these goals that are aligned with your organizational goals, because this is how you get buy-in from leaders. This is how you get others in your organization to really invest in the customer experience because they understand what the return will be for the organization. Next, you want to make sure it's measurable. That means that it can be quantified. We don't want to have goals that say things like, we will deliver a great customer experience. That is not measurable. You need to get to a level where you can actually use data and metrics and understand what it is you're measuring. The next part is inspiring. Now, this is something that maybe is easy to overlook, but when we think about customer experience, a lot of times what we're doing is we are asking everybody in the organization to engage in a different way than we may have in the past. We need to stir some souls here and inspire people so that they can internalize what this really means and how they can deliver it. Every single person who sees these goals, they have to be inspired and understand how it connects to your overall vision and mission as an organization. Now, relevant. What does relevant mean? It means that this goal considers what those obstacles are that your target customers might have. It means that you are looking at opportunities within your organization, that you are making sure that this is not some generic goal. This is relevant to both your customers and their unique needs and your organization and your unique needs. You also want to look to the future a little bit. What are the conditions of the marketplace? What are those predictions that are based on how your customers will behave? Consider all of those things as you move forward defining your roles. And then finally, we want to make it contextual. This is probably the most challenging, frankly, but it's so, so important because we want to make sure that these goals are going to be meaningful to our customers. What do these goals actually mean for them and their experience? But then we also want to understand, what do these goals actually mean to our leaders? How will they understand how this will deliver for our organization and for them as individuals? And then we can't forget to include people like our frontline workers, people who are interacting directly with customers. Or what about the community that we serve? We want to make sure that these goals deliver for the entire ecosystem of our organization. And if we don't think through this, it's really easy for this to kind of fall down like a house of cards, because we won't have that foundation of support and buy-in that we need from the leaders and the community and the customers. The best goals are well defined in this way, because then you start seeing the results in this way. If you define things with this SMIRC checklist, you'll start hearing back from people saying, "Oh, I'm so glad that we were able to measure this, that it was inspiring." You'll hear these words. You'll also hear from the community that you serve, your customers, and they'll tell you what achieving those goals meant to them. So really, this is a way to put things into perspective. This is a way to help us define things that are sometimes really hard to define. This checklist is here to help you, because we have found that a lot of leaders are asked to start with tactics in customer experience. We are asked to start with tools or measurements. I encourage you to always think bigger. Always think about the mission that you are trying to deliver. Always think about the customers that you are serving. And this checklist can be a reminder of all the various stakeholders and people, and ultimately how we deliver on that mission. So I wish you a lot of luck with this. Defining CX goals, it's not that easy, but hopefully this checklist and other tools that we provided will give you that foundation of success that we need. So by being here, you help us live our mission, which is to create fewer ruined days for customers. By learning and connecting with us, you're helping us do that. So thank you. I'm Jeannie Walters. We are here every Friday. Don't forget to subscribe and hear more about different CX topics. If you have a certain topic that you want us to cover, please don't be shy. Reach out and connect with us. We're on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, everywhere else. So thank you so much for being with me today, and please feel free to reach out. I hope to see you on other Fridays when we're either live or recorded, but either way, please subscribe here so you don't miss it. Thank you.